So far we have been looking at the customary system, but today we are finally starting on the metric system. Now, to do the metric system, we first need to know the base units for the metric system. And so there are three types of measurement that we have done so far in this course. Three types of measurement. Someone have a hand for what is the three types of measurement, Robbie?
Length.
Okay, so length is one of them. Makai, do you have another one?
I would think for length.
Okay, I want to know what I want to know another type of measurement. Nora?
Height. I mean, no, sorry. Weight.
Weight, great. Okay, so weight is another type, and there is a final one, Will? Capacity, great. Okay.
Are we not going to do cartoons?
No. Okay, so there are three types of measurements, and they are length, weight, and capacity. Now, there are what we call base units for each of these. There are base units for each of these. Makai, which base unit do you know?
Meter.
The meter, and what is that for?
Length.
Length, great. Okay, so just wait. So we have the meter, which is the base unit for length. Does anyone know the base unit for weight? For weight, Lizzie?
Oh, is it grams?
It is gram. Okay, so we have the gram, and the final one. Think like soda bottles. Is that Meredith? Yes, Meredith.
That's what?
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. Gabby.
Everyone does it.
Oh, your head is facing the right.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Well, it's good. Mary's nice.
No, Gabby, you already had that.
Okay, liter.
Is the liter. Okay. So we have the base unit for this. Now I'm going to have to ask you to bear with me, but I do need you to have these in your notes. Just excuse me, we don't need to call up. Okay. So these are what we call the base units. Okay. So these here are the base units. Now there are several types of units which you are expected to know with all of these. Not just the base unit, but we do need something to start from. Now I'm going to teach you a mnemonic. Okay, just wait for a moment. Okay, I'm going to teach you a mnemonic, which is basically a phrase where the first letters of each of them stand for something. And it is helpful for remembering the metric system. And it may not seem like it makes sense, but I promise it will make sense when we are done. And so I'm going to ask you to write down a phrase, and you'll notice the first letter of each is capitalized. And we're going to have to memorize this, and this kind of has a flow to it that's easy to memorize. And it is King Henry doesn't usually drink chocolate milk. Okay? So it is King Henry doesn't usually drink chocolate milk. There are other phrases that some people use that are slightly different, but this is the one we're going to use in this class. And what I'm actually going to ask you to do is tomorrow we're going to have a mini pop quiz, if you will, and it is going to have one question. And I'm going to say, what is the trick for remembering the metric system? And you are going to have to write down on a piece of paper, King Henry doesn't usually drink chocolate milk. Okay? There's a reason for why I want you to memorize this, and it'll make your life a lot easier. But this will be what the quiz is on tomorrow. Okay? Now, the reason why we care about this phrase is because it helps us remember the letters that each word start with. K, H, D, U, D, C, F. Okay? That would be a lot harder to memorize than King Henry doesn't usually drink chocolate milk. But they all stand for something. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to write them below in a different color. One moment. No. Okay? Now, the ones that we are concerned with are only a few of them. K stands for kilo. U stands for unit. C stands for centi. And M stands for milli. Okay? Not like our milli, like at milli is in millimeter. Okay? Now, there are other ones, and when you guys get to 7th grade and possibly in science, there are other things like we have decameters and decimeters and hectometers. but in this class we will not use those. But it is important to have these letters because they place things.
Also, it teaches
Okay.
you the word.
Yes. So it is important for spacing that even though we don't use these units in our class, you will still be expected to have the full mnemonic, which is King Henry doesn't usually drink chocolate milk. Okay? But when you actually solve these problems, all I want you to write is King Henry doesn't usually drink chocolate milk.
That's it?
Okay, just one moment, I'll explain. So even though on the quiz tomorrow, I'm going to ask you to write out the whole phrase, what is important when you are actually converting is this list of letters. And it's helpful so you can say it out loud, like, King Henry doesn't usually drink chocolate milk. And this will allow us to convert between the metric system. And you'll see why in a moment. Now, let's say, for example, and this is the part where I am going to do a problem for you. We are today going to focus entirely on length. Okay, so the meter. So let's say, for example, I want to convert 3,123 meters into blank. Actually, I'm gonna write. Might as well do some letters below. Okay, 3,123 meters into blank kilometers. And what we are going to do is we first have to look at the number that we have. Okay, it is 3,123. Now, in this number, there is a decimal, even though it is not written, and the decimal is behind the second 3. Okay? Now, we say we are dealing with meters. Now, meters starts with M, but meters is the base unit. It is the base unit. And the base unit is U. Okay? So the base unit is U. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this decimal and I'm going to put it behind the U. Okay? And then I'm going to say, I want to go to kilometers. Now, kilometers is over here. So I'm going to say with the decimal, okay, so to go from here to there, I have to move over 1, 2, 3 spaces to behind the K, because that's how you get from U to K.
Oh,
And because it is 3 spaces to the left in King Henry doesn't usually drink chocolate milk, that means it is 3 spaces to the left here. And so my final answer is 3.123 kilometers. Okay? Okay? So when you are converting with the metric system, you actually don't have to multiply or divide. What you're really doing is just moving the decimal, and we use this as a way to move the decimal. Okay? Now, that was me doing it. We're gonna practice until you can do it on your own. So the second problem we're gonna do, we are going to do it together. Okay, one moment. Okay, so the second problem we're gonna do together is I'm gonna say we have 2 meters, and I want to convert it to blank centimeters. Okay, so I want to convert it to blank centimeters.
So you always start
Just
with
wait. Okay, now we are looking at meters. So where's the decimal in this number here? Where's the decimal? Yes, Meredith.
behind the 2.
Behind the 2, great. Now we're looking at meters, so where's the decimal in our mnemonic? Yeah.
But behind the M.
So it's not, remember that M is the base unit?
Oh, sorry, behind the U.
Behind the U, great. So it's behind the U. Now, someone different, where do we think that centimeter should be, Nahor?
Centimeter should be
Okay, now we want to go behind the C. So how many places does it have to move, Nora?
2.
So we go 1, 2 places. So how many places do we have to move over here, Robbie?
2.
2. So we go 1, 2. What do you think fills those spaces, Makai? Zeros. 200 centimeters. Okay, so the numbers itself don't change. It is really the place value that's changing, and we're changing the place value by moving the decimal. Okay, we're going to practice 2 more of these. Okay, where's the eraser from here? Okay. 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 Third one. And Makai actually asked a good question earlier about, do we always start behind the U? And so we are going to get up in pairs in a moment, not just yet, okay? But I want us to do 435 millimeters, and I want to convert that to centimeters, okay? So what I would like you to do is get into pairs. So you two are pairs. Robbie, can you move over here? Ryan, can you actually come up here and work with them for just this? And can you guys partner up in some way at that table? And what I would like you guys to do is work in pairs to try and solve this problem, okay? I will give you about a minute. I'll give you about a minute to do this in your pairs, okay? No, work in pairs. So find your partner. Mm-hmm.
Will the decimal always be behind that?
Ask your partner. Ask your partner. We'll go over it after. Ask your partner. Stick your partner. Okay. I want you to work with your partner.
So first you have to do 4, 3, 5.
If you guys are stuck, just go with across the table. We'll come back in a moment. Take your time. Okay, you will wait in a moment. All right. Okay. Okay, we are going to regroup now. So, Lizzie, okay, so we're going to regroup. So, we have 435 millimeters. Okay, so we are dealing with millimeters. But first, in 435, where is the decimal, Stella?
So it's behind the 5.
Great.
And can I?
Yep.
Okay. So that means since it's millimeters, it would be behind the M.
Great. So this is a case where we start behind the M and not the U. So we start behind the M.
And then centimeters, you have to get to centimeters, and that's the C, so you just move over 1, which means you move the decimal over there 1, so it's 43.5.
Exactly right. Okay. So it is just 43.5 centimeters. Yes, Makai.
So depending on which way you're going, which way do you consider behind the C?
Okay,
Going
good
that
question,
way,
good question. So whatever you are starting from, you always go to the right of it, okay? Just like you would read a sentence, a period ends on the right of it, and you want to go to the right of whatever your destination is. So we want to stay to the right of M, because that stands for millimeters, and we want to go just exactly to the right of C, because that's what centimeters begins with. Okay, yeah.
How do you know, like, when you do, like, with the 2Ds, how do you know which way, like, which
Okay,
way?
great question. So that we will not cover this in our class, but when you guys get to 7th grade, I think you may do this in science class. This stands for DECI, D-E-C-I, and this is DECA, D-E-C-A. So you do have to know a little bit more for that, but in this class we won't get to that. Okay, so
Is it more complex or something?
it is not more complex, it's just more to memorize. So the ones that we care about are the ones I wrote down earlier. We care about kilo, the base unit, centi, and milli. So those are the ones that we focus on.
Yep.
So as a general rule of thumb, you will always start behind one of these four. Okay? And now we're going to do a last one. I'll get to your questions after. We're going to do one last one where you're doing this by yourself. Okay? So the final one you're going to do by yourself. So we have 21.7 kilometers, and we want to convert that to centimeters. And I'll give you about 60 seconds. When you are done, you can just put your pencil down, and that way I'll know when we're done as a group. Bless you. Do you have the, so Ryan on top of your page, I'll write this. Okay. So, someone who I've not heard from yet, I know I've heard from, really, I actually haven't heard from you yet. Okay, so where do we start? Well, actually, where's the decimal?
The decimal you put is behind the one.
Great.
And we start behind the K,
Abby?
and we move to behind the C, which is 5 spaces. So you move the decimal over 5 spaces, and it's 21.0.70000.
Okay, so it is 217, and how many zeros?
4.
4 zeros. We can work backwards with the commas, and so we have 2,170,000 centimeters. Okay? Alright, I'm gonna stop the video, and then I'll answer some more questions after, because I know it's a little tricky.